Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Welcome back, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am Japheth.
Jackie.
Peter. And so, once again, we are the Matterhorn Yodelers, and our topic today is the movie Hocus Pocus. We're doing another movie review.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yeah, so, for those who don't know Hocus Pocus, which I don't know where you've been, because this movie has been out since '93.
Yeah.
And it is now a staple in everyone's house, it seems like.
Yeah, it's definitely become that movie that has become the must watch of every Halloween season.
You know, I even get hyped up.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, why am I getting so hyped up about this? And I remember watching it and enjoying it as a kid, so I thought let's dive into it and let's get some opinions, but I'll do a short synopsis for those who are naive about this movie. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So, the Sanderson sisters, they are three witches, and it starts off in Salem, Massachusetts, just around the time of the Salem witch trials. These witches, they seek immortal life by sucking the life out of small children. Isn't this a great start to a Disney movie?
It's a lighthearted movie.
Yes.
And it only gets lighter.
It does.
As you get throughout it. It's wonderful.
And so these witches are caught, they are hung, but they do a spell, and then they are able to come back to life, and then 300 years later, they come back to life, wreak havoc, and that is the fun of the movie, is the havoc that we call Hocus Pocus. So, should I start off with some fun facts?
Fun facts.
Cue the fun facts.
Okay, so the role of Max was originally offered to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Which, I have a funny story about that, because actually...
Did Leo tell you something the other day?
No, but I watched this video of the director. He spoke about this event. So, what happened was, he was, he was going through a lot of casting, and the producer calls up and he goes, "Hey, I've got this guy, Leo. He's going to come in and audition. He's not going to accept the part. He's got a bigger part lined up for him, but he's going to come in and I want him to read for you." And he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "I just want you to meet him." And he says, "Okay." So he comes in.
Serious networking.
Oh, I know,
there.
right? And he comes in, and Leo's all like, "Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm here." And he sits down on his couch almost like a therapist. And vents him and just talks to the director "Oh, I've got this big role." And then he leaves. And then he goes, "Wow, this guy's amazing." So the producer calls him back and goes, "How did it go?" And he goes, "This guy's amazing." And he goes, "How did he read?" And he goes, "I forgot to have him read."
Wow. So he ends up turning down he turned it down so he could do What's Eating Gilbert's Grape. Remember I used to Darvel was like, What's eating Gilbert's grapes?
That's right.
And he'd make fun of me. All right, Bette Midler, by the way.
I think he was nominated.
He was
for
nominated.
Academy.
So Max did not. The actor that plays Max did not get nominated.
No.
So Bette Midler, next fact. Bette Midler, by the way, has said that Hocus Pocus is her favorite film out of all the films she's ever done.
I would believe it.
She was amazing in this role.
She was probably the best part of the movie. So
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. So everybody has watched, next fact, Friends, the TV show. And there's the famous opening sequence of the fountain.
I saw that. I only discovered that from a meme.
Oh.
Yeah. That fountain is actually featured in this movie. As they're heading to the school to trap the Sanderson sisters there, you get a brief glimpse of that same fountain.
That they have the intro.
The intro for Friends where they're bouncing around because everyone thinks it's this one fountain in New York.
It's not.
It's not in New York. And if you look in the background of the Friends opening, you see that Bostonian style houses, which are like, where's that in New York? Because if you go to New York City, you're not going to see that style of building there.
No.
Maybe one building, but not like a whole. So that takes place in a set on Universal lots. Interesting fact, Sarah Jessica Parker is related to a woman who was famously accused of being a witch during the Salem witch trial period. So there's Billy, the zombie.
Oh, Billy.
Yes, his mouth is sewn shut, and then it is open, and moths come out. Those are real moths.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's gross.
There are two actors who helped bring Thackeray Binks' character to life. You all know Sean Murray, who is in NCIS. He plays McGee.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's McGee.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so young. And then Jason Marsden. Do you recognize the name? He and his voice was Max in the Goofy movie.
Yeah.
But he is also Eric's best friend in Boy Meets World, season 2. 6 Degrees of Boy Meets World. It's right there. Move over, Kevin Bacon. Boy Meets World's taking over. And then the film was going to be called Halloween House.
Yes, Halloween House.
What a horrible name.
That's a
was.
pretty bad name.
Yep.
And then for Mary Sanderson, Rosie O'Donnell was offered the role. How horrible would that
That
have
wouldn't
been?
have been good at all.
She would have over...
It would have been
acted
super dramatic.
It wouldn't have
yeah.
worked with Bette Midler, like in the chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she felt uneasy. This is what Rosie O'Donnell said. Uneasy about playing a character who kills children. There's no problem killing her career, but no, brother, no. All right, so we're going to do initial feelings. Once I said we were going to watch Hocus Pocus. Peter, we'll start with you.
I was like, okay. I mean, my opinion. I mean, we'll get into more about my opinions. I mean,
Initial thought
was all like, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that we would talk about we would do a Hocus Pocus movie review for Halloween this year. So it made sense to me. So I was like, I was okay to go with it.
Jackie?
Love Hocus Pocus. But also, like, Hocus Pocus is one of those Halloween movies that is not too scary for children, I would say. Like, compared to other Halloween movies where they're, like, super scary, like, you know, bloody or whatnot.
No, you just get to watch a cat get smushed twice.
I like the lifeless child in the one scene.
The lifeless
She's
child.
just sitting there, and like if you look
she
closely,
moves.
she moves, right?
She moves.
She's like this. She like slightly moves her head. It's just okay. So okay, I was like, okay, I'll watch Hocus Pocus. Oh, I love Hocus Pocus. Blah, blah. You know, but going into it, as I was watching, I was like, I didn't know the ending because I don't ever make it to the ending.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably get more into that. Peter, what did you like about the film?
Well, I think the best part of the film was the Sanderson sisters, without a doubt. Like,
Yes.
without them, the movie would just be a Disney Channel movie. Like, they make that movie work. The song, their version of I Put a Spell on You,
Yeah.
like that is definitely the highlight of the entire movie. And without their performance, because they did a spectacular job, I think the movie would have fallen flat. I think originally it was supposed to be a very serious and dark movie, but
The director goes into that where he's kind of conflicted how
Yes.
it turns out.
but the Sanderson sisters, although dark, add that comedic element to it that makes it, I think makes it enjoyable overall, so that anyone can enjoy this movie.
Yes, it's definitely focused. This movie turned out to be very family friendly for Halloween, to focus. And like Peter said, the Sanders sisters made the movie. I would say they are probably one of the best witches, like, I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Betrayal. And, you know, they're even presented in the parks at Halloween time at Disney World. They have their own show.
Now they do.
Which
yeah.
is crazy, because the movie itself was considered to be a failure. Not a failure, but just, like, dismal results.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They doubled their money, where, like, it was $20 million, and they got $40 million in the box office, which you would think that's big. You know, like, wow, you doubled your money, and it's like, nah.
Not really.
And
it's a cult classic.
It's yeah, and it just keeps going.
Well, I think this year, because they've re-released it in the movie theaters, because nothing else has come out in the movie theaters, it's the most best box office results for like weeks in a row now.
That's crazy.
Because they're just showing Hocus Pocus in the movie theater, and people are showing up.
And people want it on Broadway.
Yeah, they do.
There's a, like, you know...
There's a petition.
Yeah, there's a petition that everyone
Petitions mean something.
I'm still waiting for Obama to do, like, where's my super suit? Yeah.
I think he did.
Did he do that?
He did
Oh,
do
I
that.
didn't see
He
that.
did do it.
There was a White House petition for that.
There was.
But,
The important
yeah.
things in our country, and that's what we want.
People want it, and I think the original actors would... so they said they would come back for the Broadway performance.
Of course, why not? It's a fun role. For me, it hits upon the classic Halloween themes. You have witches, you have a zombie,
Yeah.
you have the classic black cat, and it takes place in Salem, Massachusetts. Like you would just think that's the pinnacle of
perfect
Halloween. You know,
In
America.
In America, yeah. You've got the classic New England fall. Like, we don't understand where that is. Where we're at. It's just
from Arizona, no. We do not have the season of fall. We go straight from summer to it's cold.
to where it's still summer.
Yeah, we go from summer to slightly cooler summer to
Yes.
winter.
So, I mean, I love that aspect of it. We hit upon Bette Midler's performance.
Yes.
It is what carries this movie through. And I love the sisters' response to the marvels. Like, they did a good job where they just don't jump into this, like, foreign world. Like,
For the most part. There are moments where
Yes.
they do. But you're right.
but they address it. And I think that's what's good
But, like,
about
the
it.
moment when, like, they see, like, a black street, and they're like,
Yes.
what is
The
this?
Black River.
The Black River.
I love how she pushes around into it. She's like, ah!
Oh, it's rock.
Yeah, I like those aspects of, like, they address it subtly. Again, you only have so much time.
Yeah, I know. You can't always rely on that gag. Like, yeah, I mean, they could have addressed the fact that they don't know what a microphone is, but they seem comfortable with it.
I never thought about that.
They sure are very comfortable with that microphone when it comes time to perform.
It's just natural. It's just there. Okay, let's go on to things we disliked about the film. Oh, wait. I do forget one thing. One thing I did like was the bus driver.
Oh.
He's the most underappreciated character,
He
which
was
is...
the most creepy character.
Like, he was great where he's all like, well, we're looking for children. Well, it's going to take me a couple tries. I was like, oh, wow, that was really funny.
Yep.
But just like, it was those subtle things where you're just like, oh, that's a joke for me in 20 years. I appreciate you, Mr. Bus Driver. All right, now on to things that we dislike about this film. Peter?
All the kids. Every single one of the kids
love
annoyed
them.
me so much.
Teenagers included.
The teenagers.
Ice.
Oh, those guys were so
the bullies.
bad
yes.
actors.
The
Like,
bullies
they bring the
were
movie
bad.
they served no point in the movie at all. They didn't need them. Even the main three characters, they weren't very good. If there was maybe a glimmer of goodness, it was Danny, the girl.
Really? I was like, I'm fine.
She was-
You can take her.
But
Take her,
the reason
kill her.
why is she played her part well as that annoying little sister.
Yes, she
Yes.
She played that part well. Did she annoy me? Oh, yeah, she did.
But that was her role.
But that was her role, and she did that well.
There was just some things where she just really pushed too far, where I just don't see a sibling, like, confronting a bully like, my brother will beat you up. It's like, do you not see that there's 6 guys the same size as me? Like, I'm not Aladdin with genie powers where I can punch off these guys. Like, I don't... That's what I'm like, I think we're embellishing a little too much with, like, this annoying sister. Because my sister's not that annoying.
No, I'm not.
Not at all.
No, I'm
Not
not
at all.
annoying.
No.
Annoying.
No comment. No.
I just love how.
What were some dislikes you thought or saw
So
in the movie?
the house, like.
Which house?
So the witch's house. I love how like the house pretty much stayed intact, and you would think when the mob burned the witches, they would burn the house with it.
That's a good point.
I think critique people have with the house in itself is that these people, this town, really believes in the Sanderson sisters, and that if they really believed it, they would have like stashed, buried that black candle,
Yeah.
not see the light of day. It would not just be sitting out
I know, I love how they
in
made
an area where people could actually easily just, I'm just gonna light the black
Because
candle.
there's always the dumb teenagers like Superman complex of like, oh, it's not real. I'll show you. Thinking about that, did they actually mention the candle that the mob would know about it?
Well,
Or is that something
they
within
knew
the
about?
book?
They knew about it because
she chanted the spell.
No. So, like in the future,
They know
girl,
about it.
the girl.
Well, does the mob know it at the time?
Well, how did they know about it?
There's always somebody does research and like.
Okay, well, eventually, like they would figure out. Oh, okay. Well, we need to get rid of this candle.
Maybe. I don't know.
But that's just me. Cinema sinning.
Where you're just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they kept the house for the movie.
The
intact.
movie's gotta exist, I guess. The movie wouldn't really be much of a movie if everything was just like not there.
Well, you know, it could have been like a National Treasure. Nicolas Cage come out with a candle.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Gotta find these witches.
Yeah, so the house, I was like, why, wouldn't you think you would burn all of the witches' stuff?
Never thought about that. That's a good point. Like, just destroy it all.
And I think it's poorly designed for a museum because it once was a museum. It does not look like a museum.
Looks like a gift shop.
Yeah, it does not have that feel of like, this is a museum, this is this display, this is that. This is just literally like, you can walk around the house. We haven't done anything to it.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. Like, I went to I've been to some museums where it's like, oh cool, a castle. You walk in and you're like, I paid $20 to walk around in 2 rooms. That was nice. All right. I imagine it's a tourist trap for sure. If there ever was one. For me, that dislikes. I thought the movie bottoms out after the high of them burning.
Yes.
Yes.
They burn, and I'm like, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
And then we get this lull of, like, we gotta go back down from this, like, this high, and we're back at the house, and we got this weird, like, teenage cuddle, session, and then, oh, they're back.
With no explanation.
The smoke comes back, and they blow out the furnace.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair.
And so it's like, oh, okay, I have to get ramped up into this movie again. And they do a good job where, like, Sarah Jessica Parker's character sings and brings all the children. I like how some of the kids are still wearing their costumes to sleep. They're, like, walking in a full costume. It's like,
isn't this, like, 2 in the morning? Like,
that kid's got a, like, candy hangover like no other.
To be
like,
fair, none of the parents are home.
That's true.
Yeah.
None of the parents are home, so...
They're probably vegging out on the couch eating candy all day.
No, they're at the party.
They're stuck. They're cursed.
I'm saying the kids.
Oh,
yeah.
the kids. Oh, yeah, totally.
But I like how some of them are wearing pajamas and they have, like, little robes.
Yes.
Well, the witch is calling me. Let me put on my robe. It should be a little nippy out. It is Massachusetts in the fall. Yeah, it's just for me, like... And then as we got to the part where they're back at the cemetery, and they're turned. So I was like, oh, okay, like that's how this movie ends. And I realized, like, I get so excited to watch this movie, I watch it, and then somehow I'm always pulled away. I never finish the movie. The movie finishes out fine, but I'm fine with it ending at the school.
I agree. At that point, I was like, oh, that's a smart way of getting rid of them.
I can see why it didn't end.
Yeah.
Because it was that moment of cockiness, you know, where you feel like we won, but you didn't win.
Yeah.
And like it comes back and haunts you that you didn't finish the job.
It's true.
So I think that is essential in any sort of like scary Halloween story, where that sense of like, we did it, we got away, we won, and then all of a sudden, no, here comes the monster.
It's true.
Oh, but I loved when, like, Billy stood up against, like,
Oh, yeah.
the witches.
Dag!
Yeah.
Okay. So, next question is, what makes this one of the best family-friendly Halloween movies? And if it is not the best, name a better Halloween movie that's good for families.
It probably is, in my opinion, the best Halloween movie for the family because it is the most family friendly. Because I mean, you think of Halloween movies, you think of like the Halloween movie,
Yeah.
or
Jason and Freddy Krueger,
Yeah,
and
like-
scary like slasher death
The
involved.
only thing that would compare to Hocus Pocus...
Don't say Halloween Town.
No, the only thing that would maybe come close would be any of the Disney Channel movies, which don't come close to
No.
Hocus
No, they don't.
Pocus.
And this
They don't.
movie is, I believe, is just a step above it.
I agree.
Yeah.
You take Bette Midler out, and
And it falls down to
And it's just-
Disney
it's
Channel
like-
status.
right there.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
And so that's crazy that one actress and maybe like one song,
I think all three of the sisters.
they work off really
They
well.
work-
But if you did like a second movie and Bette Midler's not in there,
True.
that's like, ugh. I mean, she's the keystone. I feel,
Well, yeah, she's the head sister.
she's
So-
well, she's the keystone of the whole movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like they try to play the movie off as like it's about the kids, but
You hate
in the
kids.
end, it's like you don't care about the kids; you care about the witches.
Yeah, it's kind of like how The Simpsons started off with Bart the kid, and it's really about Homer, and it
That's
turns
what it's
into Homer,
become
and that's
into.
what it is.
Yep.
Or Boy Meets World, where it's like it's about Corey, but we're really there for Eric.
In the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really couldn't think of anything.
No.
Maybe Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, yes.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is another one, but you're dealing with Christmas there too.
And Gremlins is scary.
How about Ghostbusters? Not Ghostbusters. My goodness. Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's like Beetlejuice
I grew
too.
up watching Beetlejuice.
That's
a
true.
lot.
But
Beetlejuice.
that movie creeps me out to this day. Like
It's a creepy
it's
movie.
dark.
It
You're
is
like
a-
going to the underworld, and they're
Well,
pulling their faces out. So that's why I said like
Tim
it's a-
Burton. So.
Yeah, I was like, at the point, you're really the only closest thing you do have for a family friendly is a Tim Burton film, where it's so dark and it's in that realm. And at that point, is it really
Yeah.
a family friendly?
Right, and like Ghostbusters, yeah, that is a good Halloween movie, I must say. But maybe towards like boys would probably connect more with Ghostbusters.
Girl, Ghostbusters now.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I did not.
I did. I saw it.
I laughed. But
This is not the Ghostbusters
Yes.
podcast.
But just in general, I think Hocus Pocus is overall family friendly. That like most people in the all ages in the family can enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think so.
Yep. I think there's something for the parents, something for the teenagers, something for the little kids. There's something for, I think, all demographics. It hits the demographic button on just about everyone, I feel.
I think so, and I think that's why this movie just works, and why it is like, I think it is the Halloween movie, or it is the movie for this holiday, because it is a kids' holiday, and it's also a holiday for adults too, or they have their parties, and it kind of just everyone accepts it.
Yep.
Or maybe just the generation that was a kid are now adults, and the parents watched it with their kids, and so it keeps going on.
Yes.
It's the same thing about... It's the way these movies survive, like Hocus Pocus and Star Wars and all these others, like these movies that are multi-generational. It's just one of those things that, like, it's going to be the people who are truly passionate about it will bring it to their kids, and that's how it'll carry on.
That's how it carries on. I
And
agree.
I think, as, low budget and underperforming the Hocus Pocus movie was, it's definitely a movie that will definitely, I feel, stand the test of time in terms of Halloween entertainment.
Especially if the Disney
Yes.
company is still around.
Yep.
Right.
They're going to milk that for everything they have. I believe
Oh,
they're working
of course.
on the number 2, I believe.
And that brings us to our next question.
Ah.
I'm predicting
Would
the future!
you want to watch Hocus Pocus 2? Do you think there's a good enough story?
If they maybe did a prequel when the sisters were younger.
And they just kill the children and try to stay alive for time?
Just learning to become witches.
Okay, so, alright. We got the prequel, but that's not number 2. That's like...
I know, but I'm just...
If you want a prequel, that's how you think it will succeed?
Yes.
Okay.
I wish they just leave it alone.
Me too.
I think sometimes, everyone keeps asking for, we want a sequel for this, sequel for that, and when they come out, they're never as good as the original, because, let's be honest, the original's okay at best. It's not the most amazing movie ever, but
Do you
it's
think it
something
would
that hits us in that nostalgic bone, that like, oh, I love that movie so much, that... regardless of what the sequel comes out, it will be lesser.
Yes.
I think so. It's already hindered with that nostalgia. And I asked myself the question, do you think this movie, Hocus Pocus, would do as well? Would it reach as many kids this generation?
It won't.
No.
If this was the first generation, would it hit, like, when it came out, it's the same age as your children, as me and you, to your kids. Do you think they would latch onto it? Would they understand?
The new one or the old one?
The Hocus Pocus original, yeah.
No, and here's why. They make too many time references. There's too many references for that period of time in the early 90s.
Yes.
It doesn't...
well, if they made a modern, like, timepieces, if they made
If
modern
they
references...
updated it to be more generic references, that's not so much like, oh, look,
Madonna.
There's Madonna. Like, okay, that's... how many people know Madonna like that? Like, not very
That
many
was
people.
very 90s reference.
Yes.
Right? Appropriate for its time.
Yes, appropriate for its time, but like...
It's like Lady Gaga in a meat suit or something like that. And that's even dated in itself right there.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. I was just kind of curious.
That's my point of view.
For me, the Hocus Pocus 2, it's like, it's good.
Hocus or Pocuser.
Yeah, it's just...
That's why I was. That's what I was saying. The only way I could see it maybe being successful if it was like a prequel, take a younger Sanders sisters.
And what I've heard, it's not. It's like
right.
It's going to be a continuation.
It's like Girl Meets World.
Yeah.
Boy, I've really taken over with the Boy Meets World.
We've had a lot of Meets World references.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I've been watching it a lot lately, and I can't get enough of it.
You're prepping for a future episode.
All right, so we're going to finish off this podcast with the rating system. I like to use the Mickey ice cream bars as a reference because our family loves taking pictures in front of the castle with frozen Mickey bars that we can't bite into.
That's right.
Just quite yet. And with, whatever fraction we have, you throw in whatever Disney food you think is appropriate. So, Jackie, what Mickey bar ranking or rating would you give Hocus Pocus?
Is it out of 5?
Out of 5. 5 Mickey bars is like, I watch it all the time. I can't get enough of this. It's on. I have to stop what I'm doing.
I would give it 3 Mickey bars with a Mickey pretzel. A little sweet and a little salt.
A little salt?
Is
it like half right there? A half-eaten pretzel?
Like a half-eaten
so
pretzel.
3.5?
3.5.
You gotta give me a Well, you can't just throw it random. You gotta give me like, is it half eaten? Is it there? Give me a fraction with that random.
3.5.
3.5. Okay, half eaten pretzel, a little salty.
Yeah.
I give it a 2.
Whoa!
I give it a 2.
Never again. You'll like, I watch it once. If it
No,
pops
like
on.
the way it is like it's okay for me. My wife loves it, so I'll end up watching it every year regardless. But it's not going to be a movie I'm going to actively search out and put on by myself. I will not put it on by myself. I'll watch it when it's on, but I won't proactively turn it on myself.
Okay. For me, it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because I thought at first it was like, oh, this is like a 4. This is classic.
Right.
And I watched it and I'm like, you know what? I don't know the ending of this movie, and there's a reason why. Because
it's very forgettable.
I
The
forget.
ending is forgettable.
Well, I was like, oh yeah, the stone, and I was like, okay, that's creative, but I just didn't. I was like, this is why I don't finish the movie because I don't care for it, and so that's why I'm like, it's bumped down to 3. I'll probably watch it and share it with my child,
Yep.
But I won't make it a tradition. I don't think it's necessary because it will always be on Disney Channel. It will always be streaming somewhere. I went to Target and I saw them selling the DVD Blu-ray and the 4K for, it's like, it's gonna move on. If it's bumped up into the different mediums of VHS to DVD,
It survived this long.
it's
doing better than The Rocketeer did. And
Oh,
that Rocketeer was such a better movie.
All right.
I'm making people cry.
That's a future episode.
that will be it is definitely a future movie review because its 30th anniversary
is
is June next year. So look forward to that. So that concludes our.
I want to say one
Well, we
last
got one
thing.
last thing?
I
Okay.
have one
Yeah.
last thing I want to gripe about.
Get it off your chest.
Yeah.
The soundtrack does not have the song
Oh
in it.
wow!
The soundtrack to the movie does not have the song. I put a spell on you.
It's
It's
just
just
a rights issue.
It has to be because I was just so bummed. I was all like, oh good, I'll have this, and he's like, it's not even here. It's not even on the soundtrack because we have the soundtrack and it's not there. And that's the last negative mark I have against Hocus Pocus. Sorry, I'm very negative. I know there's many people that are going to hate me for that, but yeah.
I think it's a good perspective. We needed like a reality.
I'm the Debbie Downer of the group.
It's fine. Yes. All right. So that concludes our podcast. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we're the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please look at our social media. We're on Spotify, right?
Anywhere, basically anywhere you can get your podcast almost.
Yes.
Except for one, which I'm working on.
Working on it. Email us at matterhornyodelers.com. And this is new. We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube?
But-
You mean they can see our faces?
No. I just put a picture up there, and it's just for those that just, they have a Roku, they have YouTube, they just want it playing on their TV, just something in the background. It's there. Because we want to expand our reach with you guys. So with the different mediums that we are on, just reach out to us. Tell us some ideas. We have gotten some suggestions out there.
Yes, we love suggestions.
So what was that suggestion?
Would you rather episode? So that will be coming.
Okay. I haven't heard this yet.
And so, yes, we'll definitely take that into consideration.
Yes.
Until then, auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.